Coming up on Network Africa, Angola's President Eduardo dos Santos says he will not run for re-election in 2017. European Union leaders meet in Malta to discuss how to stem the influx of migrants from North Africa. And the International Court of Justice rules that the maritime dispute case between Kenya and Somalia can go on. Hello and welcome to the program. I'm Temitope Fagbemi. Angolan President Jose Eduardo dos Santos says he will not run in this year's presidential election, bringing an end to his 38 years in power. The president adds that Defense Minister João Lourenço will be the presidential candidate for the ruling People's Movement for the Liberation of Angola, that's the MPLA, in elections planned for August. Mr. dos Santos will, however, remain president of the MPLA. He has been accused of ruling with an iron fist and of nepotism after he appointed his daughter Isabel dos Santos as head of the state oil company Sonangol. She has been named by Forbes magazine as Africa's richest woman, worth an estimated $3.3 billion. The Democratic Republic of Congo has told the United Nations that a re-emergence of the M23 rebellion in the east is endangering a deal with the opposition intended to lead to a presidential election this year. President Joseph Kabila is meant to step down after the election under the agreement, which diffused unrest prompted by his failure to step down as his mandate ended in December. But in a letter to the president of the UN Security Council, DR Congo's ambassador to the UN, Ignace Gatamavita, detailed a series of M23 incursions that began in November and accelerated last month. He says the fiscal strain will imperil the political agreement and perturb the electoral process itself. Lack of money was one of the reasons cited by President Kabila's government for its failure to hold elections last year as scheduled. European Union leaders are meeting in Malta to discuss how to stop the influx of migrants from North Africa. Reports say boosting the Libyan Coast Guard and tackling people smugglers are the main proposals. Hundreds of thousands of migrants try to reach Europe each year, but many of them drown while crossing the Mediterranean. Also discussed at the summit were U.S. President Trump's trade and migration policies.
Our way is cooperation and partnership. We do not believe in walls and on bans. And we are committing even more today to working with all our partners in the region, especially our Arab friends on the southern shore of the Mediterranean. We believe that things have to be managed together. This is the European way. The American way might become different today. This is not a European problem. This might be an American problem.
Meanwhile, Italy's Coast Guard says it has rescued about 1,300 migrants from boats in the Mediterranean. The migrants were rescued from 6 rubber boats and 6 wooden vessels yesterday. Vessels from the Italian Coast Guard and Navy and ships from the EU's Frontex missions took part in the operations. No details of the migrants' countries of origin, gender or age were immediately available. The arrival of the migrants came on the eve of an EU summit in Malta, where leaders are expected to push to stem immigration from Africa. Here in Nigeria, the police have warned popular singer Two-Face Idibia that he will be arrested if he goes ahead with Monday's march in the main city, Lagos, to protest against the worsening economic crisis in Nigeria. The artist is demanding an urgent explanation into the reckless economic downturn nationwide. The protest is due to take place in Lagos and the capital Abuja, with support being rallied on Twitter. But the Lagos State Commissioner of Police, Fatai Owusheni, says the police have not been informed of the march and they would not allow it to proceed because intelligence reports indicates that hoodlums are planning to hijack it to rob, harass and attack members of the public. Now let's get more on the story from a legal practitioner, Mr. Wahab Shitu, who joins us live on the program. You're welcome to the program. So what do you make of the Lagos State Police Command stance that the protest called by Two-Face should not hold If you can hear me, I said, what do you make of the Lagos State Police Command's stance that the protest called by Two-Face should not hold because it can be hijacked by hoodlums?
Hello?
I can hear you.
Okay.
Thank you for joining us on Network Africa. What do you make of the police stance that the protest called by Two-Face should not hold because it can be hijacked by hoodlums? Well, it seems we're having issues connecting with Mr. Wahab Shitu. As soon as we get him back on the line, we'll bring you that interview. In the meantime, let's move on to the country's Niger Delta region, where the move by the Nigerian government to end oil theft is fueling tensions. Community leaders and residents say the move risks pushing hundreds of youth made redundant into the arms of militant groups attacking oil facilities to escape poverty.
It's midnight in the swamps of Nigeria's Niger Delta, and time for young men to begin their work refining crude oil. Big flames and thick smoke rise from the boiling oil inside large metal drums sunk into holes in the ground. The fire gets more fierce as oil is added to the pot. The workers carry on for over 3 hours and finish before dawn, when they'll abandon their bush refinery work to avoid getting caught. They say they can make up to 1 million naira from one night, and if their illegal business is shut down, they might end up as criminals or militants.
The refinery is the only job I can find to feed my family, even though it is dangerous. We have no choice anymore, so the crude is ours, and I just have to earn some living and to solve my problems. The money we make depends on the size of the drum. There are pots you can use about 300,000 naira to construct, and such a drum can give you like 200 liters, and sometimes we sell 500,000 naira and even 1 million naira per night.
150 per night.
Authorities have been holding talks for more than 6 months to end the oil theft, but community leaders and residents say the peace talks will go nowhere unless authorities legalize the artisan industry, feeding tens of thousands and helping Nigeria to cut a fuel import bill costing some $6 billion annually. In this small part of the southern region alone, the military has shut down more than 50 mini refineries in recent weeks, making hundreds of youth jobless.
We don't have anything from the government. We don't have no pipe-borne water, no electricity, toilet, none, every toilet facility, none, and we are just left like that. And so, in order to survive this life, this dear life the Lord has given us, my youths have now found a way of surviving, and this is crude oil refining. They have now embarked on that. And as they embarked on that, the families of all these young ones are able to survive a bit.
Unemployment in the swamps has shut up as oil majors coping with low oil prices have fired hundreds of workers in the past few months.
The main aim of advocating for modular refinery is for the creeks, those in the creeks, to have these small modular refineries that may be likened to some of the ones existing in the US. And we said so based on the multiplier effect, that it will boost employment, it will take care of criminality in the creeks, that security will be improved, it will also bring relative peace and boost the local economy of the state.
The waste route and the makeshift pits also adds to the problem of already massively polluted creeks.